The great hall of the Galactic Academy buzzed quietly with anticipation. A group of young alien cadets sat in neat rows, their eyes fixed on the large holoscreen that hovered above the floor. They were the best of their species, trained in war, diplomacy, and survival. Today's lesson was supposed to be a simple review of known galactic tactics. Instead, the atmosphere changed suddenly, crackling with an electric tension. Without warning, the room darkened. The holoscreen flickered and then brightened, revealing a figure that few expected to see. A human man, broad-shouldered and scarred, stared out from the glowing projection. His eyes held a cold fire, reflecting years of hardship and battle. This was no ordinary visitor. He was Earth's strongest warrior, a survivor from a planet known across many systems as a Deathworld, where only the toughest thrived. The alien cadets exchanged uncertain glances, many whispered doubts. Humans, after all, were often dismissed as weak or primitive by more advanced races. The man's voice filled the hall, steady and commanding. "I am here to show you what true survival means," he said. "To prove that humans are not just another species in the galaxy. We are warriors born of struggle." A ripple of laughter spread among the younger students. Their leader, a tall, sleek being with deep blue skin and sharp features, raised a hand to quiet the room. "Do not underestimate this human," she warned. "There is more to him than meets the eye." Her voice held a mixture of respect and unease. The man's image shifted, showing scenes from Earth's harshest places. Twisting jungles with giant poisonous plants, blistering deserts with merciless sun, predators that could tear through armor, like paper. The cadets watched, wide-eyed, as the warrior explained how humans adapted and endured these dangers. Their usual confidence wavered. For some, it was the first time they truly understood what a Deathworld meant. One cadet, younger than the rest, leaned forward, curiosity overcoming skepticism. "Why should we care about a planet so small and backward?" she asked aloud. The warrior's gaze sharpened. "Because on that small, harsh world, we learned to fight when no one else could. We survived when others fell. We became stronger, not just by weapons, but by will. That is something no technology can replace." The teacher, a stern figure cloaked in a uniform of many stars, nodded gravely. "You will soon face challenges inspired by that world," she said, "and you will see firsthand why humans command both fear and respect." Suddenly the Academy's large doors hissed open. The warrior's ship, sleek and battle-scarred, appeared in the sky above. It glowed faintly, a beacon of power and defiance. The cadets rose as one, their previous arrogance replaced by an uneasy respect. The human was not simply a figure on a screen. He had come to demonstrate the truth of his words. Inside the ship, the warrior prepared himself. He was no stranger to Deathworlds or alien battlefields. Years of training had hardened him into a living weapon. His movements were precise, each step measured. His fingers brushed over the worn leather of his gauntlets, a reminder of countless fights survived. His mission was clear: to challenge the Alien Academy, to test their skills and prove the unmatched toughness of humanity. This was more than a personal quest. It was a statement to the galaxy that Earth's fighters would not be ignored or underestimated. As the ship descended toward the training grounds, the cadets gathered outside, forming uneasy lines. Some wore confident smirks, others masks of apprehension. The warrior emerged, his presence commanding immediate silence. His eyes swept over the crowd, sharp and unyielding. A sudden challenge echoed across the grounds. The warrior stepped forward and called out, "Show me your best. Let us see if your training matches your pride." The alien leader accepted without hesitation. "Prepare yourselves. This will be no ordinary trial." The battlefield was set. A recreated Deathworld environment designed to push limits. Thorny plants with hidden toxins, jagged rocks sharp enough to cut armor, strange creatures lurking, just out of sight. Every step would be a test of courage, skill, and will. The warrior moved first, navigating the dangers with the calm precision of a seasoned hunter. His senses were keen. Every rustle and shadow registered instantly. When a massive predator lunged, he dodged with lightning speed, using the terrain to his advantage. A well-placed strike with a makeshift spear ended the threat before it could recover. The alien cadets watched, some disbelief etched on their faces. Their own training was advanced, but the warrior's instincts and adaptability were unlike anything they had seen. It was as if he was born from the land itself, attuned to every danger. One cadet whispered to another, "How can one human survive such a place? Our machines would have been destroyed." But the warrior was not done. With each obstacle, he demonstrated new tactics, using the environment cleverly, improvising weapons from what the Deathworld offered, and showing relentless endurance. His breathing remained steady, his mind sharp. The alien leader observed, quietly, realizing that this trial was becoming a lesson far beyond combat skills. It was a glimpse into human nature, a stubbornness, a resilience, a refusal to yield no matter the odds. As the sun set over the rugged terrain, the warrior reached the center of the field, victorious yet humble. His eyes met those of the alien, students no longer filled with mockery, but respect and something else, awareness. The first part of the trial had ended, but the real journey was only beginning. The alien class had been shocked, their understanding of humans forever changed. What came next would push all of them beyond what they thought possible. The alien cadets gathered in a specially designed arena, an artificial death world meant to test every skill they had learned. The ground beneath them was uneven, covered with thorny bushes that hid venomous creatures. The air was thick with humidity and the scent of decay. This was no ordinary training field. It was a hostile place, built to mimic the brutal conditions of Earth's most dangerous lands. The human warrior stood at the edge of the field, calm and steady. His eyes scanned the terrain, calculating every possible threat. The cadets watched closely, eager to see how a single human could survive where their advanced technology struggled. The trial had officially begun. As the signal sounded, the warrior moved forward without hesitation. Each step was deliberate. He avoided the sharp rocks that could tear through armor and stepped lightly over hidden pits. His senses were sharp, alert to every sound and movement. Suddenly, a flicker caught his eye. A small predator darting through the underbrush. Without pause, the warrior drew a slender blade from his belt. The weapon gleamed faintly in the dim light. With precise movement, he slashed, ending the threat before it could alert others. The alien cadets murmured among themselves. Many had trained for years to hunt such creatures, yet the warrior made it look effortless. Some began to question their own skills. How could a single human navigate this deadly world with such ease? The warrior pressed on, reaching a dense thicket, where poisonous plants curled like grasping hands. He paused briefly, then used a piece of bark to test the air. Satisfied it was safe for the moment, he slipped through carefully. Each motion showed knowledge born of experience, not just training. Elsewhere, the alien students tried to follow. They relied on their advanced suits, which could filter toxins and warn of dangers. But the machines beeped constantly, overwhelmed by the complexity of the environment. Some stumbled, caught off guard by hidden roots or sudden changes in terrain. One alien, with emerald skin and 4 eyes, growled in frustration. "This place is a trap," he said. "Our technology fails. Here." The warrior smiled slightly, sensing the tension. He had trained in places where no machine could save a person. Earth's death worlds demanded more than gadgets. They required instinct, courage, and quick thinking. Ahead, the ground trembled faintly. A massive beast burst from the shadows, its jaws wide and teeth razor-sharp. The warrior's eyes narrowed. He dropped to the ground just as the creature lunged, rolling to the side to avoid a crushing bite. Using the beast's momentum, the warrior kicked a nearby rock into its side. The creature roared and stumbled. Without wasting a moment, the warrior sprang to his feet and drove his blade into a vulnerable spot beneath the creature's arm. The beast howled and collapsed. The alien cadets gasped. Such raw strength and precision shocked even their best fighters. One whispered, "How does he move like that?" "It is like he is part of the land." The warrior did not pause to celebrate. The arena was filled with more dangers, each more cunning than the last. Poisonous insects swarmed from the air. Camouflaged predators watched from the shadows. The terrain shifted unpredictably, forcing constant vigilance. As he advanced, the warrior gathered natural materials, sticks, stones, vines, and fashioned them into tools and weapons. A broken branch became a spear, wrapped tightly with vines. Sharp stones served as knives. This was survival without relying on high technology, a skill the alien cadets had never seen practiced so thoroughly. One cadet, frustrated by the warrior's success, activated a drone to track his movements. The drone buzzed above, sending streams of data back to the alien leader. But the warrior was clever. He used the thick canopy to hide, moving silently and confusing the drone's sensors. The alien leader frowned. "His tactics are unpredictable. Our systems cannot keep up." Meanwhile, the cadets faced their own trials. Many struggled to adapt to the hostile environment. Their suits drained energy quickly, their weapons jammed in the thick foliage. Some grew anxious, doubting their own training. The warrior observed them briefly but focused on the next challenge, a narrow ravine filled with swirling mists and hidden pitfalls. Carefully, he tested each step, using long branches to steady himself. His experience in Earth's treacherous landscapes guided every move. Suddenly, a loud crack echoed as one cadet lost footing and fell. The others hesitated, unsure how to proceed. The warrior saw the danger and moved to help, signaling with calm hand gestures. His willingness to aid, even in competition, stood out to the aliens. This act surprised many. On Earth, survival was often a shared struggle, built on cooperation and trust. The warrior explained later that even the strongest needed allies, especially in Deathworlds where dangers were endless. The alien students began to rethink their ideas about humans. Their prejudice faded as they saw a fighter who combined strength, skill, and compassion. The warrior's approach was a balance of force and wisdom. As the trial continued, the warrior faced the final obstacle. A sprawling underground cave system filled with darkness and unknown threats. Without hesitation he entered, trusting his instincts and senses. Inside, eerie sounds echoed. The warrior moved slowly, feeling walls for texture and listening intently. Suddenly, something lunged from the shadows, a creature unlike any they had seen, fast and deadly. The warrior dodged quickly, striking with a swift blow that stunned the beast. Using his blade and crafted weapons, he fought with calm determination. The aliens watched in silence, captivated by the dance of survival. When he emerged from the cave, exhausted but victorious, the cadets waited. They no longer saw him as just a human, but as a symbol of resilience and strength. The alien leader stepped forward, nodding with respect. "You have shown us what it means to survive a death world. Your skills, your heart, they are beyond what we expected." The warrior replied, simply, "Earth made me strong. I fight for survival, for my people, and for anyone who doubts what humans can do." That day, the Alien Academy learned an important lesson. Survival was not just about technology or power. It was about adaptability, courage, and the will to endure. Humans, born in the harshest worlds, carried these qualities like no other. The cadets left the field changed, their minds opened to new possibilities. The warrior had not just won a trial, he had rewritten the story of humanity in their eyes. After the grueling Deathworld trial, the alien cadets gathered in their chamber to discuss the unexpected outcome. Whispers filled the air, eyes full of awe and confusion. How had one human overcome such deadly challenges when their best technology faltered? The question hung heavy, unanswered, yet impossible to ignore. The human warrior stood apart, quietly, observing. He knew the path ahead would be even harder. The aliens were skilled in technology and strategy, but they underestimated something vital: human ingenuity. This moment was not just a test of strength, it was a battle of minds. The next challenge was announced, a simulated combat exercise designed to push the limits of both tactics and adaptability. Unlike the previous test focused on survival, this one would pit the warrior directly against multiple alien opponents. The arena was vast, filled with complex terrain and artificial hazards. The aliens felt confident. They relied on powerful weapons and shields, ready to overwhelm any adversary. But the human did not carry the latest equipment. Instead, he had only a lightweight armor and a few simple tools. His mind and experience were his greatest assets. As the exercise began, the warrior moved swiftly, disappearing into the shadows of towering metal structures. The aliens activated their scanners, but the human seemed to vanish from their sensors. He was a ghost in the battlefield. Suddenly, the warrior launched a surprise attack, striking one alien with a precise blow before retreating. The cadets watched, surprised by his speed and unpredictability. The human was not just strong, he was clever, using the environment like a weapon. The aliens regrouped, forming tight formations and coordinating their attacks. Their leader barked orders, confident that their combined power would crush the human. But the warrior anticipated their moves, dodging blasts and weaving through narrow corridors. At one point, the human climbed a high platform, surveying the battlefield. He spotted a small group of aliens attempting to flank him. Quickly, he grabbed a loose cable and swung across an open gap, avoiding detection. Below, the cadets murmured in disbelief. "He adapts faster than any we have seen," one said. "It's like he thinks 10 steps ahead." The warrior's movements were calculated yet fluid. When a drone approached to scan him, he threw a small device that emitted a burst of light, temporarily blinding the machine. Then he slipped past unseen. Despite their advanced weapons, the aliens struggled to trap him. Every attempt was met with unexpected tactics: fake retreats, sudden ambushes, and clever use of shadows. The warrior turned the arena into a chessboard, always planning several moves ahead. One alien fighter managed to corner the human near a glowing hazard pool. Confident, she raised her weapon to fire. But the warrior used the moment to his advantage. He knocked a control panel loose, sending a cascade of sparks that triggered an explosion near the pool. The blast stunned his opponent and damaged nearby equipment. Using the chaos, the warrior closed the distance and disarmed her with skillful precision. The crowd gasped at the display. The alien leader frowned. "His tactics are not what we trained against. He thinks differently." Meanwhile, the warrior knew this was not just about winning. He wanted to show that technology alone was not enough. A mind that could adapt, learn, and create on the fly was far more dangerous. As the exercise progressed, the warrior began to use makeshift weapons, broken pipes, shards of metal, anything he could find. His ability to transform ordinary objects into tools of war surprised even the aliens. During a brief pause, the leader approached. "Why do you refuse our advanced weapons?" she asked. The warrior smiled faintly. "Because on my world, We often have nothing but what we find. We learn to use everything, to think beyond the tools. She nodded slowly, understanding dawning. Your people survive by outsmarting, not just overpowering. The final phase of the exercise arrived, a complex puzzle requiring both combat and problem-solving. The arena shifted, walls moved, and new hazards appeared. The aliens hesitated, relying on their usual strategies. The warrior thrived. He observed the shifting landscape, noticing patterns the others missed. When traps were triggered, he used the timing to slip through narrow paths. His calm under pressure was unmatched. A sudden attack came from behind. The warrior spun, grabbing a falling pipe and blocking the assault. Then, with a swift counter-strike, he disabled his attacker without hesitation. The cadets watched in awe, realizing this fight was not just physical. It was a test of will, flexibility, and heart. At the end, the warrior stood alone, victorious, yet humble. The aliens approached, their respect genuine and deep. One cadet spoke. "We believe technology was the future, but your mind, your spirit, has shown us a new path." The leader added, "You have forced us to rethink everything. Humans are not merely survivors, they are pioneers of adaptability." The warrior looked toward the horizon, knowing this was only the beginning. He had proven his strength, but greater challenges awaited. The cadets dispersed, their minds buzzing with new questions. How could they combine their technology with human creativity? Could their worlds learn from each other? The warrior's trials had sparked a change, one that could unite diverse species through respect and understanding. This was the true power of survival. As night fell over the academy, stars twinkled above, silent witnesses to the evolving story of humanity. The warrior's journey was far from over, but his message was clear. Strength alone does not win wars. A sharp mind and an open heart shape the future. After the intense combat trials, the atmosphere among the alien cadets began to shift. Their earlier confidence was now mixed with curiosity and a hint of respect. They had witnessed something unexpected, not just physical strength, but a different kind of power. This was a power born from unity, trust, and the strength found in bonds. The human warrior stood quietly outside the Academy's council chamber. His thoughts drifted back to Earth, to the tribes and groups that had shaped him. On that harsh planet, survival was rarely a solo effort. People depended on each other. They shared burdens, skills, and hope. This was the foundation of human resilience. Inside the chamber, the alien students gathered for a new kind of lesson. The leader of the academy, a seasoned veteran with silvery skin and calm eyes, began to speak. "You have seen the power of the human body and mind," she said. "Now you will understand the strength of their connections." A hologram flickered to life, showing scenes from Earth's rugged wilderness. Groups of humans moved together, hunting, defending, building. Their faces were determined, their actions synchronized. The cadets watched as humans supported each other through injury, hardship, and danger. One alien whispered, "They seem weaker alone, but stronger together." The veteran nodded. "Exactly. Their true survival comes from cooperation. It is not just the strongest who live, it is those who trust and work with others." The warrior joined the group, sharing his own stories. He spoke of packs that hunted fierce beasts, of clans that built shelters from scratch, and of friendships that saved lives. His voice carried warmth and honesty. Some cadets listened skeptically, still clinging to their belief in technology and individual skill. But others were intrigued. They saw something new, an emotional depth that was rare in their culture. To demonstrate this human bond, the Academy set a team challenge. The cadets were divided into groups, each paired with the warrior or one of his human allies who had arrived to support the mission. The task was simple yet demanding. Navigate a dangerous obstacle course requiring trust, communication, and quick thinking. The course twisted through dense forests, rocky cliffs, and narrow caves. It tested not only physical strength, but also teamwork. Every member's role was crucial. The warrior led his team with calm confidence. He encouraged his teammates, listened to their ideas, and adapted their plans. Together, they moved like a well-oiled machine. When one member slipped, others caught them. When a path seemed blocked, the team found another way. The alien cadets on his team began to understand what he meant. This was not just survival of the fittest. It was survival of the connected. During one tough section, a deep ravine blocked their path. The only way across was a narrow rope bridge that creaked dangerously. The first alien to cross hesitated, fearful of the drop below. The warrior stepped forward, his voice steady. "Trust me," he said. "We'll get through this, together." He went first, steady and sure. The alien followed, feeling less afraid knowing the warrior was behind. Others crossed with growing confidence. When the last member slipped, the team caught them just in time. At the course's end, cheers and laughter replaced the usual tension. The aliens had experienced the power of human trust firsthand. Afterward, the veteran approached the warrior. "You have shown us a way we never understood," she said. "Your bonds give you a strength beyond any weapon." The warrior nodded. "Our survival depends on it. No one fights alone on Earth. We share pain, fear, and hope. That is what makes us strong." The alien leader turned to her students. "We must learn from this. Not just from your weapons or tactics, but from your hearts." In the days that followed, the Academy's training changed. Teams worked more closely, learning to depend on one another. Alien cadets who had once been solitary began to form bonds that made them better fighters and friends. The warrior became a respected figure in the Academy. He wasn't just a fierce competitor. He was a teacher of human ways. Through him, the aliens glimpsed a culture where survival meant community, where strength was shared. One alien cadet, once skeptical and distant, now stood beside the warrior during a quiet moment. "I never thought cooperation mattered so much," she admitted. "Your people have taught me that survival is about more than just power." The warrior smiled gently. "It is about trust. When you fight alone, you fight only for yourself. When you fight with others, you fight for all." That lesson would echo far beyond the Academy. The story of human unity and strength spread through the stars, inspiring even the most hardened warriors. As the warrior prepared for the next phase of his mission, he felt a quiet satisfaction. He had broken down walls, not with weapons, but with understanding. The galaxy was beginning to see humans not just as survivors, but as leaders shaped by their bonds. The cadets gathered once more for a final test, one that would combine everything they had learned. It would demand trust, courage, and strength. The warrior stood at the front, ready to guide them through the challenge. Together, they would face dangers unlike any before. But now, they were not just opponents. They were a team, and in that unity lay their greatest hope. The peaceful atmosphere of the Academy shattered abruptly when alarms blared throughout the compound. An unknown hostile fleet had appeared on the horizon, its dark ships cutting across the stars like silent predators. The threat was immediate, and every cadet's heart raced with tension. This was no longer a test, it was a fight for survival. The warrior stood at the command center, eyes narrowed as he studied the incoming data. The enemy vessels were vast and heavily armed, their intent clear: destruction. The Alien Academy, once a place of learning, now faced a deadly siege. The alien leader barked orders. Shields activated, defensive weapons powered up, and squads, prepared to defend. Yet, despite their advanced technology, fear crept in. The warrior sensed this unease. Years of surviving Earth's brutal deathworlds had taught him that fear could be overcome with quick thinking and unity. He stepped forward, voice steady and commanding. "We can fight this together. Use the environment. Adapt your tactics. Technology. Alone won't win this." Some cadets looked to him skeptically, but many nodded. They knew this would be their greatest challenge yet. The battle began as enemy ships unleashed volleys of energy bolts. The Academy's defenses absorbed the blasts, but cracks soon appeared in their shields. The enemy's strategy was relentless, aiming to overwhelm through sheer force. The warrior quickly devised a plan. Use hit-and-run tactics, divide their fleet, focus on their weak points. Small squads of alien fighters launched out, darting through space with agility. The warrior coordinated attacks, guiding teams to strike at supply ships and communication relays. These swift maneuvers slowed the enemy advance and disrupted their coordination. Inside the control room, the cadets watched as the tide shifted. The warrior's tactics forced the invaders to scatter, buying precious time. Meanwhile, the warrior led a group on a daring mission to disable the enemy flagship. The ship was massive, bristling with weapons and guarded by elite troops. It was the heart of the assault. The team approached in stealth vessels, cloaked to avoid detection. Tension hung thick as they neared the enemy flagship's hull. Every second counted. As they infiltrated the ship, alarms suddenly blared. The enemy was alerted. The group prepared for combat, hearts steady despite the danger. The warrior's experience showed. He moved with precision and calm, directing his teammates through corridors filled with hostile guards. They used silent weapons, traps, and swift tactics to avoid being overwhelmed. An intense firefight erupted in the command deck. The warrior faced the enemy commander, a towering figure with cybernetic enhancements. The two clashed in a brutal duel of skill and strength. Blows were exchanged, each testing the other's limits. The warrior relied on agility and clever tactics, using the environment to gain advantage. A well-timed maneuver disabled the commander's weapon, tipping the battle. With the enemy leader down, the team moved quickly to plant explosives on the ship's core systems. The countdown began. Outside, the flagship shuddered as explosions rippled through its hull. The enemy fleet faltered, confusion spreading among their ranks. Back at the Academy, cheers erupted. The warriors' team had struck, a decisive blow, but the victory was costly. The flagship's destruction caused debris to rain down, trapping the warrior inside a collapsing section of the ship. His teammates searched frantically, but the warrior's signal was lost. Many feared the worst. Days passed with no word. The Academy mourned, but hope remained. Then, unexpectedly, the warrior emerged from the wreckage, battered, but alive. His return brought renewed strength and morale. He explained how he had navigated the damaged ship's tunnels, relying on his survival skills to escape. The alien cadets listened in awe, humbled by his resilience. The leader addressed the group. "This battle has shown us more than the warrior's skill. It revealed humanity's spirit, unbroken and fierce." The cadets began to grasp that survival was more than technology or strength alone. It was courage, adaptability, and the will to fight against impossible odds. The warrior's example inspired new training programs that combined alien technology with human survival tactics. Teams worked together, learning from one another, blending their strengths. As peace slowly returned, the Academy stood transformed. The alien students who once doubted humans now embraced their teachings and spirit. The warrior looked to the stars, knowing the galaxy was watching. The true test was still ahead. But one thing was certain: humanity's power was no longer a secret. It was a force to be reckoned with. The human warrior's breath came in steady bursts as he moved through the narrow corridors of the crippled enemy flagship. Debris lay scattered, casting strange shadows in the dim red emergency lights that flickered overhead. Every sound echoed: footsteps, distant alarms, the occasional hiss of leaking gas, reminding him of the danger lurking just beyond sight. He was far from the safety of his own people now, deep inside hostile territory. The mission was simple but deadly. Disable the ship's core systems to stop the enemy's advance and save the academy below. Yet simplicity was a lie here. Each step forward meant facing the unknown. Ahead, the corridor twisted sharply. So, Warrior paused, pressing his back against the cold metal wall. His fingers brushed the worn grip of a blade strapped to his side. His eyes scanned the area carefully. The silence was thick, but he knew better than to trust it. Suddenly, a shadow moved. Enemy guards, clad in heavy armor, blocked his path. The warrior's mind sharpened, recalling countless battles on Earth's brutal Deathworlds. He didn't flinch. Instead, he shifted his weight and darted to the side, avoiding their line of fire. Using the cover of a fallen support beam, he launched a quick strike at the nearest soldier, disabling him with a precise blow. Another lunged, but the warrior twisted out of reach and knocked the attacker into a console, sparks flying. The fight was fast, brutal, and silent enough to avoid triggering the ship's wider alarms. As the last guard fell, the warrior moved deeper into the ship. The air grew warmer, and the hum of the core became louder, pulsing through the hull like a heartbeat. He knew he was close. The corridor opened into a vast chamber filled with glowing machinery and complex interfaces. The core was here, the heart of the enemy's power. The warrior's gaze locked on the massive energy reactor at the center, its surface humming with raw force. Time was short. Enemy reinforcements could arrive any moment. The warrior knelt beside the control panel, fingers working quickly to plant explosives and disable vital systems. Each connection severed brought the ship closer to collapse. Suddenly, the chamber's entrance sealed with a loud clang. The enemy commander stood there, flanked by elite guards. His cybernetic eyes gleamed, with menace, reflecting the reactor's glow. "You should have stayed away, human," the commander hissed. "Now you will die with the rest of this ship." The warrior rose slowly, meeting the commander's gaze without fear. "I fight for survival, for those who believe in strength beyond machines." The two circled each other, tension crackling, like electricity. The commander lunged first, swinging a heavy mechanical arm. The warrior dodged, countering with a swift strike to the commander's exposed side. Blows were exchanged, fierce and relentless. The warrior's speed and cunning matched the commander's raw power. They fought not just with weapons, but with wills. At a critical moment, the warrior used the environment, grabbing a loose pipe and swinging it to unbalance the commander. The cybernetic soldier stumbled, giving the warrior the chance to disable his weapon systems. With the commander weakened, the warrior pressed his attack, forcing the enemy down to his knees. The chamber trembled as the explosives he set earlier began to activate. "You underestimate humans," the warrior said quietly. "Our strength is in our spirit." The commander snarled but could no longer fight. The warrior turned and raced towards the exit. The ship shook violently. Fire spread through the corridors. Alarms blared as systems failed one by one. The warrior's path was collapsing around him. Navigating the chaos, he relied on every survival skill he had honed on Earth's harshest worlds. Fallen beams blocked passages, smoke choked the air, and heat pressed against his skin. Yet he pushed forward. Finally, the ship's outer hull appeared ahead, a small opening leading to escape pods. The warrior sprinted, heart pounding. Just as he reached the exit, a final explosion rocked the ship, throwing him backward. Pain shot through his body, but he refused to give in. With a surge of willpower, he scrambled to his feet and jumped into a pod. The hatch sealed, and the pod blasted away from the dying ship. Outside, stars streaked past as the pod sped towards safety. The warrior slumped, battered but alive. Back at the academy, the cadets waited anxiously. When the pod's signal appeared, on their scanners, cheers erupted. The warrior had survived. His return was more than a victory. It was proof of humanity's unbreakable spirit. The academy leader addressed the group. Today, we saw courage, intelligence, and resilience. These qualities define the human warrior and inspire us all. The cadets looked at the warrior with newfound respect. He was more than a fighter, he was a symbol of hope. As the stars shone overhead, the warrior prepared for what lay ahead. His mission was far from over, but one truth remained clear. Humans did not break under pressure. They adapted, endured, and rose stronger every time, and the galaxy would remember. The warrior's return to the academy was met with a silence that spoke louder than words. Every eye was fixed on him, taking in the marks left by battle, the cuts, the bruises, the tired yet unbroken gaze. He carried the weight of survival, but also the unshakable pride of someone who had faced death and conquered. The alien cadets gathered closer, eager to hear the story behind his escape from the wrecked flagship. Their previous doubts and fears had faded, replaced by respect and curiosity. This was no ordinary human. They now saw him as a symbol of resilience. In the council chamber, the warrior shared his tale. He spoke simply yet vividly of navigating the collapsing ship, how every moment demanded sharp senses and steady resolve. The corridors had turned into traps, fires blocking paths, and toxic gases threatening his breath. Yet, his will to live, fueled by the memory of his people and the promise of protecting them, drove him onward. The cadets listened intently, absorbing each detail. The warrior's story was not just about physical survival. It was about a spirit that refused to yield, a spirit that rose even when all seemed lost. The academy's leader, a figure known for wisdom and calm, addressed the students. This human has taught us a lesson beyond weapons and shields. He embodies a strength we have never truly understood. The power of determination and heart. A hush fell over the room as the leader continued. We stand at a crossroads. The galaxy will remember this day. Humans are no longer the species to dismiss. They are fighters, survivors, and leaders. Outside, the alien cadets began to change. Their training shifted focus, embracing lessons from the warrior's experience. They practiced endurance, adaptability, and trust. They learned that machines and weapons were tools, but the greatest strength came from within. One cadet, who had once scoffed at the warrior's simplicity, now sought his guidance. "Teach me how to see the battlefield as you do," she asked earnestly. The warrior smiled. "It is not just sight. It is feeling. You must listen to your instincts and trust those around you." As weeks passed, alliances grew. Humans and aliens worked side by side, combining knowledge and strength. Together, they faced challenges that once seemed impossible. Cooperation replaced rivalry. Yet, even as peace returned, the warrior's gaze remained fixed beyond the stars. The galaxy was vast, and threats still loomed. But now, humanity was no longer alone or underestimated. The warrior stood on the academy's highest tower one night, watching distant lights flicker in the darkness. The cold wind whispered of battles ahead and new journeys. His heart beat with quiet confidence. He thought of Earth, its fierce landscapes, its people who fought with courage despite hardship. That same courage now lived within him, ready to face whatever the universe demanded. Behind him, alien cadets trained under starlight, their movements synchronized and focused. They had learned from the warrior, embracing a new way of strength. A young cadet approached quietly. Will you lead us again when the time comes? The warrior nodded. I will stand with you. Together, we are stronger than any enemy. The stars above seemed to shine brighter, reflecting a future shaped by unity and resilience. Humanity's story was no longer one of survival alone. It was a story of triumph, respect, and the unbreakable will to rise. And the galaxy would never forget the warrior who showed them the true meaning of strength.